lost in trying to give this video. It's a 10-minute video, so I give background, but the time I do, the video is over, and I really haven't made my point in some of it. It sounds a little garbled. This is Edinburgh Square, and this has to do with all this. The name Edinburgh you associate with the Queen of England or Scotland, the UK, the castle. This is Gabby Gifford, the Congress lady, in the shooting at Tucson, Arizona. Her husband is Mark Kelly, a twin to Scott Kelly, astronaut. Scott Kelly is up on the space. I have trouble with that. You know where he's at. He's been up there for a year. Anyway, the murders are mind control murders. They're programmed. The person that did the shooting was programmed to do it. Now, I don't know if he turned around later and killed himself, but James Holmes is alive, but that's one of the mass shootings, the Grand Theater, and he's not mentally ill. They're using mental illness, quite frankly, to it's a cover-up. They're using mind control, and that's the scapegoat, and to get your guns. So I could go and get lost in trying to give that background. But anyway, the Giffords, that was a mind control shooting. And you go back to Columbine in Texas, University of Texas. I didn't go back and research that again, Google it, but I knew back then that was a mind control shooting. The guy climbed up on the flagpole or something, and it back and did the shootings. Anyway, that's one of them that was so obvious, and it came. I mean, it's odd to me that no one puts together. Did all the mentally ill just suddenly get together and in patterns they start shooting mass shootings like next door to me at Virginia Tech, April 16th of '07, and he kills himself. He's programmed to do it. He's a victim, no more than the gun he's carrying. It's who's doing the programming and shooting. And then the next one of them, there's been a bunch, and they don't tell any of the truth about it. And I want to say this sound garble if you want to. These murders that I speak of were deliberately done in patterns, and it's by an agency here. And I'm not sure they're right at this moment. If you knew how people have treated me, I've gone to the media, and they don't doubt it, who I am or any part of it. I found out in '83 my real name. But it's appalling, so I'm just going to say this. I'm allergic to chemicals. And my immune system attacks itself when I'm deliberately placed, and that's where I've lived, that's where it's been placed, and forced to suck in the fumes. And here's what I want to get into. This has been going on all my life, I realize, the fumes, especially after I was married. My husband, I found out, was CIA. About the time they almost killed me, I'd done the book, and Larry Flint was shot and all that, and April Fool's Day of '80, and then Easter was on the following Sunday. They almost killed me. It's what they did to me, and this is not the first time they tried. So I was carried across the state line and passed a background check. I'm trying to make a point here. All this could be checked out. I got somebody next door, I guess, doesn't like me talking. But anyway, slamming doors. Anyway, not funny, but worked for the district attorney, and that's when, in '80, after they'd done that to me, I passed a background check. Worked for Fred Simpson, as in Wallace Simpson. It's almost clues to, well, it is to my identity. I didn't know at the time. I'd done the book about mind control murders. Warren and Rosina Matthews they'd worked at Piedmont Hospital. Larry McDonald, a congressman doctor I wrote about, his plane goes down. And Mr. Flint brought me out to his home. At that time it was in Bel Air. I was out there twice in October of '83. And his shooting was a mind control shooting. The person was programmed to shoot him and to kill his attorney. So it can be done in mass. They're doing it in programming armies now, but they can program all these, like the Virginia Tech, the Grand Theater with James Holmes, Columbine, etc., have been programmed, and for the reason of taking out your gun, like John Hinckley, and the background checks. Once you go to they're trying to blame it on mental illness, which mental illness has nothing to do with mind control. Mind control is a weapon, and it's made to mimic. And believe you me, if your doctors don't know the difference, so why are they keeping quiet? James Holmes has been misdiagnosed. He has been tortured with psychotic drugs, and I assume he's on death row or what he's going through. He'd probably rather be dead. You got the Tucson, Arizona, so I'm just saying that the twins, the Mark and Scott, the congresswoman, I ran for Congress. This is my sons, and I don't even know where they are, Mark and Scott. I haven't in a long time. And let me say this. I just left Scott Hill retirement, where I was forced to leave because of fumes. I'm allergic to them. I'm trying to make a point. I was told by a place I'd lived at, Joseph Dreams, a HUD retirement in Bedford. Same thing, hideous what they did to me there. I had to move. So I moved back to Roanoke, and they had a new place going up in Blacksburg, Christiansburg, where the Virginia Tech and the shootings happened there. So I'm the messenger, in essence, telling you what's going on, what's been done to me, and everybody wants me dead. Anyway, there's no reason they should be prosecuted for going along, the managers and the owners, because the law enforcement tells them, and running me with toxic fumes that kill me. That's what happens over a period of time, and I'm there now pretty much. But anyway, there was no reason to deny me an apartment here. I had to break the lease at Joseph Dream in Bedford. The Reverend, the black minister, is out of Washington, North Carolina. He owns a bunch of them, so they're HUD, federally funded or inspected in part at least. So that's where the law comes in, and they get people to cooperate, which is breaking the law against me. Conspiracy, and when you deliberately use these fumes on me, it's like feeding poison, peanut butter to, or a bee sting, putting the bee on a person to sting it when they're allergic to the bee sting. It's no different, except it's ongoing with me. So the point I wanted to make here is after Joseph's Dream in Bedford, same people own the brand new one in Christiansburg, Blacksburg, where Virginia Tech students were shot, and me telling all about that. Her last name is Scott, so they're using certain names, time, synchronicity, etc. It fits into a puzzle, and yeah, it can be proven. But she denied me over and over and told me in faxes and everything, and I've put them up on YouTube, that I could not come there to live. This is a HUD. I'd done nothing wrong. Now then, you fast forward, I just left Scott Hill out at Covington, background check and all. So now I'm back trying to get into Edinburgh, going back to people that should be prosecuted for what they've done. I lived there in '06 and had to break a lease because they were killing me with chemicals and the fumes. So, oh yes, this is all true. So I'm going to equate this now. I hope I've got it without being scattered too much. You can put it together or go back to all the ones I've put up the last 3 years. And I'm on Facebook longer than that and on Instagram now. But the methane gas leaks out in California. I think it's around Los Angeles. Well, everybody's running from that. They're moving, and now then the gas company's going to pay for it. And some of the interviews with the officials said, well, that some people are, I guess he said the word, anyway, they can't take the fumes from the methane. Well, this is what I can't take. I have to breathe. And when I'm force-fed the toxic fumes, and that's where I've lived, is where it's been done, and making it hard for me to live, and I'm jumping and breaking a lease or sucking in the fumes for 17 months just to have a place to live on the hopes that tomorrow that this comes